So today I want to go over negotiating with your contractor. So once you've outlined your project and your contractor of choice comes back with an estimate, bid, whatever you'd like to call it, some people would like to faint when they see the prices, but price increases happened over years. And if you haven't done a contracting project for quite a while, it's going to be sticker shock. So a lot of people, when they get into this scenario, they don't understand that negotiating is part of the contracting industry. Your contractor expects you to come back with a price point that may fit better for you. And if it doesn't work for them, they'll let you know that. But some of the reasons that people have a hard time asking for better pricing on anything, it comes down to emotional. They get emotionally wrapped up. They think maybe they're going to come across as difficult. They're afraid to start the relationship out with their contractor having asked for a discount. They feel like that might put them in a negative light under their contractor's eyes, which is not the case. Or they're just quite simply afraid to be told no. A lot of people have the fear of being told no. They think that it's actually a rejection. But in negotiations, being told no is just an opportunity to reframe that question. And so I want to go through this video and just some quick and easy ways that you can work out a better pricing structure with your contractor. And I want to tell you a story. What I do on a daily basis, I'm actually retained by companies to negotiate their vendor contracts. That is one of the things that I do on a regular basis. And you may think, that's silly. Why would a company ask you to come in and negotiate contracts for them? And these are large vendors. These are Adobe, these are Microsoft, these are large vendor contracts. And over the course of the last year, one company in particular, I've saved over $150,000 just by asking to negotiate the contracts. While their employees of the companies feel very uncomfortable asking for discounts, asking to negotiate, asking for a better pricing structure that fits the company needs better, the story relates back to how uncomfortable the average person feels if this isn't something that you do on a day-to-day basis. Most people don't have a job where they negotiate pricing all day long. That's where I come in. So this is how Indigo Sky Advisors sort of came about, is that I noticed how many people were uncomfortable actually walking through contracts and negotiating both the terms of the contracts, but the pricing of the contracts as well, making it a suitable win-win for both parties. And that is one of the number one problems that I see in contracts on a regular basis, is people get their egos overinflated while trying to negotiate. And you may hear people in the heat of a negotiation say things like, well, that's not my problem, or that's not my issue. And those are all ego-driven statements. So some of the easier ways to have conversations surrounding negotiations and finances is to understand the depth maybe of your relationship first and foremost. And what I mean by that is some of these large contracts and biggest discounts that I am able to get is by looking at the depth of the relationship. And if it's a deep relationship with prolonged business opportunities, that is where you're going to find your biggest discount. So in contracting terms, when you're working on a large project, that may mean I'm asking my contractor to come in and do a bathroom remodel, which could then turn into doing a full kitchen remodel, an outdoor deck remodel. So you may want to lay out the fact with your contractor that you're looking to start small in a project with them, but you want that to grow into like a much larger relationship with them. So you may say something like, I'd like to do this small bathroom renovation with you, and if all goes well, I'm interested in taking a look at my kitchen, my deck, whatever it may be, the master bedroom, or whatever it could be for you. So they know that by coming in, that there is going to be more business for them down the line. So that is one of the easiest ways really to get started. Another one is never saying to the contractor, hey, your price is too high. That automatically screams, I can't afford the cost. And that's not the reality. That's not what you're saying. You're saying, I don't understand where your cost came from. Can you please walk me through how you arrived at the cost to repaint my cabinets? That's always a big one. A lot of people think it's like a very easy process to repaint cabinets, and it's not. It requires equipment, a clean room, a spray room. Like, there's a lot that goes into doing it and doing it well. And so, if your contractor, say, had a high price to do something that you deem as simple, you're going to ask them to walk through, like, why is this price so high? I didn't expect to pay $5,000 for this. I thought it would be closer to 1,500. It seems very simple. It allows them to walk you through the process so that you're fully understanding what they need to do. But also, you have to recognize that a lot of contractors nowadays, they're not the ones doing the work. They may not even have the crew directly, they may have sub crews, subcontractors doing the work. So they're not even sure exactly where the subcontractor may come in, and they're trying to price it so that everybody is making a profit, and they end up pricing it either way too high or potentially way too low. And I've had instances myself where a contractor has come in and said, oh, it's $1,500 to do the electrical work, and I just paid the electrician directly and it was only $150. So there are huge variations in what your contractor may charge you, but knowing how to have the right verbiage and the right communication skills to be able to say, $5,000 probably isn't going to work in my renovation project for cabinet repainting. And you can go outside and find somebody else to do the cabinet painting, and maybe they have all the equipment, maybe they have the clean room, maybe they do this all day long and they're very proficient at it. And that's probably the more likely person that you would want to go with. And maybe the original contractor is great at backsplash. You can divide up your project and negotiate with multiple different contractors to come in and do what they specialize in best. So never be afraid to ask, like, what are you specialized in? Are floors your specialty? Like, what is your big primary thing that you're well known for? And maybe that's the contractor that you want to hire for that, and you want somebody else that's well known to do something different for you. It's a very easy way to walk through these contract negotiations, asking how they arrived at the pricing. And if something seems highly overpriced, it's more than likely because it's their first time maybe doing it, and you may find out through the process that they're not experts at painting cabinets or doing backsplashes or setting cabinets, and they're actually charging you more to do that because they're learning as they go. And that is definitely one of the things that you want to ask your contractor as well. Is this your specialty? Do you do this often? How many cabinet paint jobs have you done? Just walking through the process so you know, like, is this their primary thing that they do? Because also on the back end, you don't want your cabinets to look bad. So if this isn't like their strongest strength, it's probably worth your time to ask around and find somebody else to do that. But one of the great things that we do at Indigo Sky Advisors, if you're still uncomfortable walking through the process of negotiation, we do that for you. We find out what you want, what cost you would like to pay, and what projects you want to go through, and we take the uncomfortable out for you.